Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. I'm Stan Gravois, and it is my pleasure to be joined by Chris Singleton. Chris, a lot of people recognize for when he was the editor of the Houma Courier. Chris now works in the mass comm department over at Nichols, teaching our youth, which is so awesome, Chris. We are so happy to have you here. And next to him is Joe Riley. A lot of people know Joe in the area just because he's a huge advocate for high school sports. He works over at Thibodeau Middle, where he is the athletic director. But these two guys are instrumental in putting together a committee that actually votes for all region teams in our area. Got kind of lost for a while. We didn't have those teams. And Chris, I have to thank you for that. What was the genesis? What were you thinking when you said, you know what, we used to have all region teams and all of these sports on the high school level, and it kind of got lost?
Well, you know, we did it for so long when I was at the Courier and the Daily Comment, and unfortunately, we all left and went our own ways. And whenever I go to high school games or events, I would see parents or players come up to me and say, oh, when are our regions coming out? So I am the Houma Thibodeau representative for the all-state team. So after the seasons, I get all the stats and information on how teams are due, so I can nominate them for all-state purposes. So right after that, you know, I'm just sitting on all this information. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe if I can get a committee together of local media, people who are contributors who go to the games, know the athletes, I can get them to vote on these teams for the kids, because that's what it's all about, getting these kids recognition, more recognition than they normally would get. But we have a really good crew of local media representatives, and I can call their names out. Of course, you and Joe Riley helped us vote for this. We also had, Bayou Sports, Casey Gisclair from the Lafourche Gazette, also Chris Hunter from KWBJ, TV 39 in Morgan City, Bobby Arsenault, everybody knows who Bobby is, from TPR, Seth Thomas from KBZE, and Connor Gisclair, one of my students at KNSU Television at Nichols. He goes and helps me cover local sports. So I gave him the information. We all voted for these teams for the kids, and it's a great thing for the area.
I agree. And Connor, one of those up-and-comers. Joe, you had so much to do with the track and field part of this, but more than that, you've been a coach in the area. It means something to these kids. I mean, if we lose the all-region teams in football, basketball, all of that, it's a shame. There are a ton of baseball and softball all region teams. But not when you get to track and field, not when you get to basketball and football, honestly. So from a player standpoint, it's a pretty big thing, right?
Yeah, it means something to these kids, especially in our area. Like I was talking earlier, our kids do a really good job in sports like track and field. And without an all-region team, they get overlooked sometimes. Everybody don't win a state championship or compete on the state level. So with us having an all-region team, that makes all the kids, I can see myself in the paper, on the internet, and I accomplished something.
I agree. So what we're going to do is first we're going to take a look at baseball. We're going to give you first team. Then Chris will tell you where you can find the rest of the teams, because there is second team and there is honorable mention. We would like to congratulate first our coach of the year and our player of the year, both from CCA, who had a tremendous year this year. Those guys won 37 games this year. Owen Trosclair is your Bayou Region MVP. Your coach of the year in the Bayou Region is Joe Tutone. Congratulations to both of those guys on a tremendous year. Owen was good on the bump. He was good at third base. He was good at the plate. He was good all around. And of course, Joe had a terrific year. Let's look at the first team Bayou Region baseball. There you see the four pitchers: Brady Trosclair, Brennan Champagne, Kyle Stansberry, Cameron Dayrosh, and then your catcher is Peyton Trosclair, the brother of Owen, not the butter, the brother. Mason Canner, who actually is out in Salt Lake playing right now, getting ready for his tenure with Nicholls State University. Jax Trish from E.D. White on the first team. Jacob Pierce from South Lafourche High School, and James Guidry, an all-around good player who's going to be playing at Loyola in New Orleans. Congratulations to those guys. Let's take a look at the outfielders and your utility players. Carson Hebert, Henry Thurgeson, Spencer Gilbo are your three outfielders, and your utility players are Owen Trosclair. Obviously, he's the MVP. Braden Claymore from South Terrebonne, who's going to be playing over in Mississippi this upcoming year. He's going out to Jackson to play for Bellevue, is it out?
Belhaven.
Belhaven, I'm sorry. Thanks, Joe. Thomas Lacone, a terrific catcher, but an all-around good player for Vanderbilt. Braden Bro, a good one from South Terrebonne, the district champs. And Dylan Robichaud of E.D. White are all on the first team. And Chris, people looking for the second team, maybe looking for the honorable mention. It's out there, right?
Yeah, what we did was after we built it, I typed up a release and also typed up a graphic, and I sent it out to all the media organizations like the Houma Times, Lafourche Gazette, Morgan City television and radio stations too. So you can go on those websites and you can see the full graphic with the second team and honorable mention selections also. And usually all of the local media organizations should have it on their websites, or you can send me a message on my Facebook or my Twitter, Courier Chris, and I can get that to you also. And so anybody who wants to find it, And I also want to mention that we follow the format from the All-State Louisiana Sports Writers Association.
Very important. Yes, explain that.
Yeah, because when we pick how many pitchers or how many catchers, we want to keep it consistent with how the state association does it too. So we just take whatever the state guys do and we just localize it in the same number of catchers, pitchers, infielders, outfielders, utility, and so just to keep it all consistent instead of having it all over the place. So that helps.
Very good. So that's sort of the blueprint, right?
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Very good. I'm hoping y'all can come back with me and we can maybe talk about softball and then maybe talk about track and field. Say yes, please. Very good. We have to take a break. We'll be back with more Bayou Time Sports after this.
Stay tuned for more Bayou Time Sports, brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System, Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. I'm Stan Gravois, and it is my pleasure to have with me Chris Singleton and Joe Raleigh, two guys who are such big proponents for high school sports in our area. I say high school sports, all sports, whether it be middle school, whether it be recreation programs, whatever the case may be, and we certainly appreciate it. And what Chris did was he decided that we needed to continue having our all-region teams in the area for our local high schools. It kind of went away for a while. Chris, of course, was the editor over at the Comet and the Courier. And that sort of dissolved for whatever reason. Now he's instrumental in teaching our younger folks coming up who are going to be in this media. I was going to say circus. Let's call it a sports avenue, because he works in the mass comm department over at Nicholls State University. The genesis of you getting this together, just real quickly related to how this all-region is done, because we're going to tell you the all-region softball team in just a second.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we follow a format from the LSWA. I also want to give a shout out to Andrew Caillou at HL. He really helped, get us started back with doing our region last year, and he suggested, hey, can we get this up and running?
Is he the guy who told you, hey, what happened to this and why can't we get it going again?
And we did it for basketball last year, and we continued it for basketball this year, and we went straight into baseball, softball, and we hope we're going to do it again for fall with football and volleyball and so on. So this could be something that we want to keep consistent. And like I said, we want to keep it up with the LSWA format, with how many pitchers that we use. So, and we also, it all starts with our district process. The coaches vote for our district, and then I take it to all state, and then all of this information I gather, I put it on a spreadsheet for guys like you and Coach Riley and the rest of the voters to vote for. So it's a team effort. It's not just me. I'm getting information from coaches and helping. You guys are helping with the votes and suggestions on who we should nominate for these.
It was very nice, and I have to, being there for the voting over at Talbot Hall on the campus of Nicholls State. Chris had it set up there, and you have local media who are doing this. So I'm glad it never goes away, and it's not one-stop shopping. This is going to continue. It started with basketball, but we jumped into the fire with basketball, because that's right when we said we need to do this. And now it's continuing. So I think football and volleyball, the process is going to get easier and easier. Joe, you are a person who has lived the sports scene. You have been a coach in this area. We talked about it before, where it's important to the kids. We want to make sure they continue to get the accolades they deserve, the promotion they deserve.
In this area, they should get the accolades they deserve. Like I said, and we'll get to track later, but those baseball guys, those softball girls, and those coaches, they put in a lot of time and effort to this, and they want to see some fruits of their labor. And like I said, everybody doesn't make the all-state team, so that doesn't mean you're not good. So I'm just glad Chris got it back together, gave us that phone call, and we could sit down and do this for our local kids.
I agree. And listen, having it on your resume also helps if you get that opportunity at a JUCO, if you get that opportunity at an NAIA school, or even a prep school. Maybe making an all-region team helps just a little bit. We're going to look at first team. This is first team softball all-region, and it is the all-Bayou region. And we started off by looking at our Bayou region MVP in softball, and that goes to Lauren Baudouin of Vanderbilt Catholic. The young lady won her second consecutive state championship with Vanderbilt Catholic. Obviously, you see there she is in the circle, but she's so much more than that. Man, she's a player. She can play, she can hit, she can do it all. So she is our Bayou Region MVP. And it goes without saying, James Spearman, 2 years in a row. Last year, he was an assistant coach. This year, he's head coach for Vanderbilt Catholic's Lady Terriers. Coach Spearman is sort of the cog that's always been there, though. He's the guy who takes the pictures and he works them into shape and does a terrific job. And finally sort of gets from behind the scenes in front of the scenes, which I know James probably doesn't like all that much, but he certainly deserves it. So congratulations to him. Let's take a look at the first half of your first team representatives. There are 4 pitchers. Obviously, Lauren Baudouin is one of them. Lilia Alomar from Assumption was terrific this year. She's only a sophomore. By the way, look at the classifications on the right, folks. That's all region, first team, and look at those classifications. Not only was Lilia great over at Assumption, Shelby Groh at E.D. White was terrific in the circle, and Blair Claymore from Lutcher was terrific. Then you have the infield, Bella Trosclair, the only senior on this from Covenant Christian Academy. Other infielders are Callie Walk. She is from Vanderbilt Catholic. Lexi Mathern, who was the MVP over at the state tournament. She's only a sophomore, and Callie is only a freshman. And then you have one more freshman, Haley Perilou from E.D. White. That's your pitchers, catchers, and infielders. Now let's look at the outfielders. Libby Thibodeau from Assumption. She's a senior. Jade Olney, I hope I'm saying that right, from Central Catholic is a senior. And Avery St. Pierre from Lutcher is a freshman on the first team. And then utility. These are the players who they may have played primarily in one position, but sometimes they move around. But they're just too good not to be on the first team, right? Ella Mobile from Assumption, she's a senior. Hayes Rutledge from Vanderbilt Catholic, only a junior. She'll be back. Maddie Bourgeois from Lutcher, she'll be back next year. Lainey Ashday from Central Lafourche and Abby Thomas from Houma Christian are both seniors on that team. Real quick, Chris, as we look at those teams, we don't take into consideration necessarily junior, senior, or whatever. No. It's just the best player, right?
We go with the best player, and I mean every voter has whoever they're going to vote for, but we don't look at classifications or schools. We just individual, who stood out from the past season, and we give them a vote.
And before we take a break, we want to mention you can find these second teams and these honorable mention athletes. It's very easy. Just go out and look at any local Bayou region, whether the platform is print news, whether it's social media. We all were involved in this, and you could find the second team and the honorable mention team. Got to take a break. We'll be back with more Bayou Time Sports right after this.
Stay tuned for more Bayou Time Sports, brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System, Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sport. It is my pleasure to be joined by Chris Singleton and Joe Riley, two of the biggest advocates of high school sports in our area, all sports in our area for that matter, for our youth. Thank you guys for coming in as we are going to take a look at the Bayou Region all track and field team, both boys and girls. Chris, you instrumental in getting this all region philosophy back in action with basketball, with baseball, with softball. We're going to do it for football. It's sort of a labor of love, but that guy next to you has a lot to do with track and field, right?
Oh, yeah. I've known Coach for a long time, and he's probably one of the biggest advocates for track and field here. And I definitely, what we do is we get suggestions from coaches in all sports. Coaches are a coach right now, so I contact him, and he gave me some advice on who we should, have on his team, and we let him put his expertise into play, and he did just that, and we thank him for the time and effort that he spent, giving us information.
Joe, basically, when we're doing baseball and softball, it's you're going by what Chris has from all state and from all district teams. When you go from track and field, It's easier, but it's not as easy simply because it's best times. Obviously,
Right.
whoever runs the fastest, that's a guy or girl you're going to look at. But sometimes everybody thinks it's what you do at state or
No.
what you do at district. Talk about how this is done in the format that we follow to do all regions.
So there's two formats. We followed the sports writers format where they take the culmination of the year and they take the kids' best times, distances, and they culminate that and they pick 3 kids throughout the entire state when the sports writers do it. Now, the Coaches Association, they base their all-state team on what you did at the state meet. So we're in the room with a bunch of sports writers. I'm the only one still coaching. So we followed the sports writers format. And to me, track and field is easier than anything else, except when you have to vote for the MVPs and whatnot. And then everybody has their own opinion. But numbers are numbers. Men can lie, women can lie, but numbers don't lie. And that's all I did is went on the website and pulled the numbers off.
Well, you sell yourself short simply because you're the person who went and get all of that. And you had to do LA mile split. And it's not that easy to go find this from this district and this from this classification or this division and stuff. So you did just that. First, let's take a look at the boys' MVPs. Jalen Coleman from Vanderbilt Catholic is your track MVP. Just a terrific year for him, both obviously in football and in basketball, quite honestly. But he is a terrific kid on the track in the 100 and the 200 and helping with the relay teams over at Vanderbilt Catholic. And obviously, if you saw the finish in his race against a kid from Bruley in the 100, that was just, it was heart-wrenching that he didn't get the call in that one. And then Caden Adams, who throws a shot put for Central Lafourche High School, is terrific. He is Mr. Consistent. He's the guy you know every meet when he goes out there. He's probably going to win your shot from that area. And of course, you see Jordan Reed. Edie White had a terrific both boys and girls program. So Jordan Reed is your coach of the year. Real quickly, let's take a look at all of your top time finishers. Jalen Coleman in both the 100 and the 200 meter dash. In the 400, Yair Torres Allegor from South Lafourche. In the 800, Tevin LeBeouf from Central Lafourche. Both in the 16 and the 3200, Trey Detillier, not Dre, Trey Detillier. In the 100-meter hurdles, Marcus Thomas had a terrific state meet. In the 300-meter hurdles, Braylon Brown from Terrebonne. In the high jump, Trevon James of Ellender. In the long jump, Cam Ritrock, who also had a great state meet from Vanderbilt Catholic. In the triple jump, it was Ben Rodrigue of E.D. White, and Ben unfortunately injured for the state meet. And the pole vault, Blake Guidry, who set the all-time E.D. White record at 15 feet. That's pretty high, folks. And the discus, Jack Redding of South Lafourche, a state champion. And the javelin, Logan Denning from E.D. White High School. And finally, in the shot put, we just mentioned him, Caden Adams. Real quickly, let's take a look at the girls. Your girls track MVP is Elizabeth Rodrigue of E.D. White. She's sort of that middle distance runner. And then next to her is your girls field MVP. That is Sierra Common. Did I say that right, Joe? Cammon from Letcher High School. And of course, Jordan Reed, we mentioned, had such a good year with both the boys and girls at E.D. White. Moving down, let's go straight down. Kalea Coleman of Thibodeau was your 100-yard dash top timer. 200 was Aeneas Johnson of Letcher. 400 is Sanaa. Very good, Joe of Kennedy of Thibodeau. You would know her. She probably came through your school, right? 800 meters, Elizabeth Rodrigue. 1600 meter, Elizabeth Rodrigue. 3200, Emmy Ritchie of E.D. White. 100-yard meter hurdle, Sierra. We talked about her a little bit later from Letcher. 300, say it again, Joe. Sanaa Kennedy of Thibodeau High School. High jump is Sierra. Long jump is Sierra. Triple jump is Sierra. You know she's the MVP after you look at that. The pole vault is Caroline Robinson of E.D. White at 10 feet. The discus is Addison Grizafi of Central Catholic. The javelin is Jakari Johnson of HLB. And finally, the shot put, Ava Borda of South Lafourche. I know Tiana had a great state meet, but Ava had the longest throw this year. So that's very good. We run out of time quick on that. But Joe, thanks for putting all of that together.
Not a problem.
We are going to have these guys on after every single all-region voting. And Chris, thanks for all you do, man.
Thank you for supporting local sports too.
Yep, go out and see everybody. You can find them on our site here at HTV. Go to HTV social media, and we have the teams of both baseball, softball, and all track and field. That's first, second team, honorable mention, whatever we have. We love to support the kids in the area. We'll be back with more Bayou Time right after this.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.